Enosh here, aka Enosh Fett, along with
Tiftastic or Grand Tif Tarkin.
And it is time once again for Spoiled. That's right, and today is a little bit different. It's been kind of a long week, and so you may have noticed that we haven't had a lot of videos on the channel this week.
A little busy, end of school.
Yeah, stuff going on and stuff, but tonight we are at the drive-in, and so since we got probably an hour and a half to kill before the sun goes down, we figured we would make a couple of videos that we needed to get out of the way. So tonight we are going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, and it probably should have stayed in the shadows where nobody could see it, out of the way, and just left it at that. So we're not going to get really in depth with the movie, but Tiffany, your initial thoughts of TMNT?
Well, cowabunga, dude. No, they don't even bring those back. But I was excited that they were adding on to the franchise, but it left a little to be imagined. It was one of those movies that it was fun, it was entertaining, but there's a lot that could have been better, especially since you're trying to harken back to the 90s, you know, the ones that were cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that it did right. I mean, like, I will give you this. It was very cool, and before we get into this, I will just say the name of the show is Spoiled. If you haven't seen one of our reviews, we're going to get into some spoiler-ish territory, so if you have not seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, later, just put this video to the side, like it, whatever, and tag it, and come back to it, okay? But it was really cool to see Krang.
Yes, he was cool. They did that very well done. They
did that excellent. That was done perfect. It was really cool to see the Technodrome.
Yes.
Yes, the Technodrome realized was really awesome. Shredder was better in this movie.
He was, but he barely had any screen time, and he was never a threat.
Yeah, and that, you know, he looked better, and when he was on screen,
he was commanding.
He was Shredder, and he was great. But that's the real problem that I have with this movie, is that there was no villain. The villain was never doing anything. I mean, there was a couple of action sequences that involved Shredder, one that involved Krang, and that was pretty much it. I mean, you had Bebop and Rocksteady, which were awesome.
They were awesome, but they were also more entertaining, and you were excited just to see what they could do and what they could get away with.
And honestly, you know, my biggest issue with this movie, really, and I understand the CGI, you got to see more turtles. That was cool. But to me, these just don't look like turtles. It looked like a cartoon mixed with live action.
Animation.
I'm sorry. It just... I
actually like the puppets from the 90s, so maybe I'm just old school.
Well, you know, that was probably one of the mistakes we made, was before we went to go see this movie on a Monday, we actually watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, the original 1990 movie, on Saturday night, which I say still holds up. I can't say much for the sequels.
Yoda's a puppet, he still rocks.
I can't say much for the sequels to that movie. They had their good parts and bad parts, but that initial movie captured everything that the Turtles were. Shredder was serious, you had the backstory there, and I was watching that, and just watching Splinter in that original movie versus Splinter now, that puppet, that animatronics, had more screen presence than the new animated one, and I don't care for the animation style of the Turtles now compared to the old ones. And I'll be honest with you, two things that really took me out of this movie. One is Megan Fox. Megan Fox does not have any business being April O'Neil. I'm sorry, she just doesn't. There's a couple of sequences where she's supposed to be kind of in charge and doing some things, and it just falls flat. I just don't believe Megan Fox in anything. Plus, I don't believe that, you know, what really took me out of the first movie was the fact that she's had all this plastic surgery done. She doesn't even look kind of normal anymore.
Unrecognizable.
And, you know, and she's supposed to be a struggling reporter trying to get in on the news, you know, and she's got all this plastic surgery work. And then here is this really hurt, because I love Steve Amell, Arrow, but man, I don't know what role he was playing, but that was not Casey Jones. That was not the Casey Jones I grew up with. He only puts on the hockey mask once.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, just for a minute.
He was just tagging along with the Turtles, is what it felt like.
Yeah, because he had it in his trunk. He's a cop driving a Mustang? Or what? No, it was a Charger. He's driving a Charger. That's not Casey Jones. I mean, I'm sorry. That little exchange.
Where was the sweatpants?
And my friends Rob and my friend Gabe, if you're watching, and a couple of others, we quote this movie, the original Turtles movie to each other. I mean, left and right. And that initial fight between Casey Jones and Raphael in the original movie, you know, where he's like, you know, new game, cricket. Cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. I mean, it's just, there's just classic one-liners in that movie, you know, and this movie just didn't have any of that. I love the turtle van.
Yes, and I loved that it was shooting the sewer grates.
Yeah, I mean, there were some great callbacks. I will say that for this movie, there were some great callbacks to the cartoon, which I loved. They played the original, or they play the updated version of the original cartoon theme song at the end. That was cool. So there were these little, really cool parts put into this movie that was just really mediocre. And, you know, at one point I was just kind of waiting, going like, are they going to fight something? Are they... So far, all we've seen is Shredder break out of jail, and they're just talking about a lot of stuff, and you know, and so then it comes down to
Krang's just being boss.
Yeah, and so the whole plot is, you know, they got the ooze. The ooze was cool to see, but this ooze can turn them back, or can turn them into humans, and
which a couple of them struggled with because they wanted to be seen not as freaks that had to hide in the shadows. Thus the name. Yeah.
So, but when it came down to it, they didn't do that, but they were revealed to, not really the public, they were revealed to the police.
Because that's what matters.
Yep, and then they had a special decoration ceremony at the Statue of Liberty. I don't know what that was all about.
Seems legit.
Sure, why not? It was just kind of a ridiculous movie. Nobody knows that the turtles are the ones who saved them. You know, I thought that was one of the silly things too. Is you have this giant monstrosity coming from another dimension, and they're trying to sneak the turtles into the building that the Technodrome is assembling over, and it was like, really?
Just let them save the day.
Just let them go save the day. Will Arnett was funny.
Yeah, he always is though.
And I like the scene where they're...
Falcon?
I didn't understand the Falcon thing.
Because he swooped in and he flew in and saved the day.
Oh, man.
Because he was able to take credit for the turtles because the turtles couldn't be seen.
The scene where they're watching the basketball game, I like that. That was pretty cool. So, like I said, this movie had a lot of great parts. So I will just say this to you, if you've chosen to watch this and you haven't seen it, you know, there's some good parts, like I said, mixed into a mediocre movie. If I had to rate this movie, man, out of 5, well, I'll let Tiffany go first. I'll see what Tiffany gives the movie. Tiffany, out of 5, what do you give it? 1 being the least, 5 being the best.
I have to be honest, it would be 2.5 to 3. I give it the higher number just because of throwbacks that it did have, but it was all the little things in between. It was, when I don't enjoy a movie as much, and we've given movies high ratings, so it's not that we're just picking this one, you know, down.
Movies that people say suck, we liked it.
Exactly, but I was actually at the end going like, okay, what time is it? Are we ready to go yet? Because this isn't, there's nothing happening. So on the high end, I'd give it a 3, but if I chose, it would be 2.5.
So I'm going to give it a 2.75. Because you know, we can't give it a solid number, right? So I give it a 2.75, and here's why. Because it did have those throwback moments. Krang looked great, had Bebop and Rocksteady. They were very much like they looked in the cartoon. And
plus the guys that played him, you had Seamus and you had the guy that's from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah,
so it made it funny.
It was good stuff. But Steve Amell, man, next time, if they even make another one, because apparently this movie didn't do so good its opening weekend.
Roll your hair out, throw on some sweatpants, and have some attitude.
Man, don't
just tag along.
You know, be Casey Jones if you're going to be Casey Jones, not just in word only.
Love you as
and okay, you know, and one awkward thing. What did you say? Oh, we love you as Arrow? Okay. You know, the forced love interest there between Casey Jones and April O'Neil.
It was awkward.
Wasn't that awkward?
You could feel the awkward.
Yeah, so I don't know. But what did you think of this movie? Did you go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows? If you did, why don't you let us know in the comment section what you thought.
Good or bad.
Yeah, hey, did you absolutely love it? Are you a Turtle fan? And you said,
what are things that you noticed that we didn't mention?
Yes, you know, we would love to hear your opinions, okay?
Little turtle nuggets hidden in the movie that we didn't see.
Little turtle nuggets.
What? I said it.
My wife, ladies and gentlemen. So I am Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with
Tiff-tastic or Tiff Tarkin.
Yes, and this is Spoiled, and so we will see you next time. Bye-bye.